Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Teach Better Daily Drop In with you every morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, streaming live on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and probably any number of social media networks that have just been invented because that's how we roll. We're everywhere with you every morning, and I'm here with the fabulous Katie Miglin to kick off your Friday morning. My name is Brad Hughes, your co-host for the morning. We're going to have some good news stories. We're going to have some special holidays. We're going to celebrate a week of learning and caring and inspiring, reflecting on our guests and their contributions this week. And Katie, probably just a little few shenanigans to get our Friday morning started. So take a second, fill up your coffee or tea, and we'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. It's the Teach Better Daily Drop-In with you streaming live, or maybe you're listening to us later on the Teach Better Talk podcast. Whether you're joining us live or after the fact, we're grateful you're spending a little while with us, and I want to introduce and reconnect with my friend Katie Miglin. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, Brad. How are you today?
Doing really well, Katie. And how about you and family, and how's life where you are?
It is good. We've had warm weather finally, so we're enjoying lots of playing outside, and yeah, we've only got a couple weeks of school here, so we're just kind of, living it up as the end of the school year kind of comes.
Katie, you're a familiar face to our Teach Better family, but for those who haven't met you yet, could you let us know where you are and what you do?
Yep, I am the director of curriculum instruction, and that really means I do a lot of variety of things. So you've probably heard me attached to the 12-hour. That's like my biggest thing that I've worked on. But I've been on here. I do all kinds of sorts of things. We've got our big conference in October that I'm helping to plan. So yeah, I've kind of just been around,
So, Katie, if we were to visit the Teach Better website at teachbetter.com and find you among the team, it would probably see Katie Miglin. Your job description is literally does all the things. That sound about right?
I don't know if I do all the things. I think I am involved in all the things, but yes, it does feel like I have a variety of hats for sure.
In addition to your large hat rack, you're also a classroom educator. Tell us a little bit about your work in schools.
Yep. So I'm a 7th grade math teacher in Central Illinois in the States, and I've been teaching for 13 years. I have taught math for almost all of it. I usually get one section of writing, depending on numbers. And this year I have that one section of writing. So I also teach that. And I help with our drama club. I've coached various things. I've again done a variety of hats. I don't know if you can tell there's a theme, Brad, that I like to, do a variety of things and keep it interesting.
That's perfect. And I know whatever hat you wear, you make a huge contribution to kids. And tell me about a little bit about the kids in your life. You've got a young family and you're passionate about your work with them too.
Yep. So I have 2 little girls, Harper and Stella. If you follow me on any social media, they are usually the only thing that's on my social media. Stella is 3.5 and Harper is 7. And they're keeping me busy. We're in softball season right now. So lots of time on the field, and I get to be her assistant coach, which is a new thing for me. So we have had several conversations about, yes, you have to listen to mom because I'm your coach, not just your mom. So, but it's been super fun. And, they like to be outside. They like to be active. So it makes things really fun for me too.
Katie, do you use a whistle in your work as coach?
I don't, but maybe I should. This week I have lost my voice. I feel like you're getting the best of what it has maybe sounded. So maybe I should go to a whistle and then I would have more of a voice. Maybe that would work in the classroom too, Brad. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it may work in the classroom. I'm wondering too if you're balancing those roles between mom and coach. I wonder if a whistle might be a way to get attention at the house if you need it, maybe from your partner as well. Who knows?
That is such a good idea. I don't know about you guys, but we use Alexa a lot in our house to call rooms. I'm like, what did people do like 30 years ago? Did they actually like just talk in person? That's so weird.
Yeah, I think 30 years ago they tied two cans together with a string, and
Uh,
if the string wasn't taut, it was was really hard to hear one another. But I think that was the predecessor of Alexa, was just those tin cans. So, in
yeah.
what ways do you use Alexa in your home that add value to you?
Oh my gosh, Brad, okay, this is kind of embarrassing because we use it for a lot of things. When my daughter, she's 7, so she's learning to spell and write. And if mom or dad won't tell her how to spell something, she just asks Alexa because it gives her the spelling. And she has learned, little tip, how to say it slow. So it'll read it really slow to her so she can get all the letters. So we use it for that. We have lots of dance parties in our house. So that usually is how we start our day. And yeah, we use it for grocery list, all kinds of things. Okay, Adam, my grandpa raised carrier pigeons. Like I grew up thinking every grandpa had pigeons in their garage, that was normal.
That they don't?
I guess not.
Wow.
I don't know.
Adam, I love that. Effective but messy.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're using carrier pigeons as an alternative to Alexa or to any other message sharing system with the family, yeah, you better have your act together there.
Yeah.
Good morning to everybody, whether you're listening live or later. It's Katie Miglin and Brad Hughes here on the Daily Drop In. Katie, we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to celebrate all things Teach Better, and I know you've had an opportunity as co-host this week to connect with a number of educators, and you mentioned earlier your role as a conference chair, planning our Teach Better conference in Ohio in October. Maybe just a couple of words of excitement about that Teach Better conference for those who haven't yet taken the opportunity to find out or to register.
Well, we have been reviewing proposals, Brad, and I don't know if this is a secret, but from my experience, there are no secrets on Daily Drop-In. Things get said all the time. So, yeah, we've been reviewing proposals, and I think Brad, you can agree that you've probably been excited about the conference. We've
Mhm.
started to see things happening, but man, looking at the proposals, I was like, okay, now I'm like really excited. Like, how is it still so far away? So I feel like there's gonna be so many good sessions, so many big names, so many like cool people that I think once like September hits, I'm not gonna be sleeping at night because I'm just gonna be looking forward to it. So
Just as you wear a variety of hats in your different roles, are you noticing a wide variety of submissions, or are you noticing one or two themes that are really coming to the fore to respond to what we're trying to get through in education right now?
I would say, honestly, as I was looking through them, I started to see a theme, and then you'd get another one where you're like, oh my gosh, that's such a cool idea. I think there's going to be some really big kind of hot topics, some buzzwords, but then there's also things that are very specific to COVID, which as a classroom teacher, and Brad, I'm sure you can speak to this too, is still in the schools. Post COVID life in the education world is a whole different world. And
Yeah.
so it's been nice that we've got some that are going to speak to that and, be able to, I don't know, maybe help with next school year. But then it's such a good like mix. And I think it's going to be a really, really good balance.
Katie, I didn't have the opportunity to attend the last in-person conference, Teach Better 19. I wonder if you can tell me maybe one, two, or three ingredients that make up the secret sauce of a Teach Better conference. I mean, a lot of educators will have attended different conferences, whether it has to do with educational technology, educational leadership, curriculum, literacy. What makes a Teach Better conference just a little bit special?
I think it's gonna be the connections. Now, Brad, I was not at the last one either. But any person I've talked to, and I'm sure you've had similar experiences, it's the connections. It's
Mhm.
the meaningful, like genuine conversations. And Brad, I'm with you. I've been to conferences before, and it's not often that I can say I've talked to the keynote person in person, or I saw this session and then I was able to connect with somebody later. Like that doesn't always happen. And so I think that is like something that will be what makes ours different, is that you see someone on a stage or you see someone at the front of the room presenting, but then you're going to have the opportunity to connect with them and have a conversation. So yes, and Bree has been a huge, thank you, Bree, for dropping some comments. Yeah, she's been like a huge mastermind behind the audience experience, and just every piece of what a person will feel like from the second they walk in the door to the second they leave that weekend. She's been making all the magic happen. So thanks, Bree, for all your work.
I think part of the magic is just what you're talking about, Katie, is the fact that real educators are planning real experiences for other educators with a mind to not only inform and inspire, but to connect. I think that if I take a look at the itinerary that's being planned, there's such a combination of both plenary sessions and workshop sessions, but there's a real commitment to time for relaxed networking, just as you said, to connect with the keynote speakers, to connect with the presenters, to connect with our podcasters, maybe take a little bit of time to record your thoughts with one of our network podcasters, but just that balance of learning, like that balance of receiving, but also that huge focus on interaction and a chance to consolidate what we're learning too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you to Bree. Thank you to Adam Cottis in our comments. If you're watching live, feel free to drop us a comment. Let us know what's on your mind this morning. Later on, we have our brainstorm bank. If there's aspects of your educational life that Katie or I can help you with reflection or problem solving, we'll shift there. But Katie, we're going to shift right after this break to our good news segment and our stories and holidays for the day. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. Let's do it.
Morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Teach Better Daily Drop-In, streaming with you live Monday to Friday on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. I'm with the fabulous Katie Miglin, and we are heading into our good news and holidays segment. Katie, what are you celebrating or looking forward to today?
It's Friday, so check Friday. It is our last Friday of the school year, Brad. Next Friday at this time, school will be out. So I know we're celebrating that. We've got some big things happening in our building today. And I'm having a garage sale, which I'm really excited for it to be over. That's what I'm excited. So those are the things I'm celebrating today.
Katie, is it a one-day garage sale where you're sort of saying goodbye to a lot of accumulated stuff, or is it something that just continues? Maybe you use Facebook or other media to advertise. What's that like for you?
We're doing a couple days. So a neighbor and I are partnering, and we did it last night. We're doing it today. Luckily, my husband's staying home and manning the fort today. And then we're going to do it until we get sick of doing it tomorrow. So I want it out. I said it once it goes in that garage, it's not coming back in. So that's the hope.
I opened my garage door yesterday, Katie, and it's just full. Last year, for some reason, I didn't do the annual garage clean out where you take everything out of the garage, you sort it around in the driveway, you put most of it back, but you just pack it in tighter. So right now my garage is full, no room for even one car. And so I think that a sale is probably in my future as well, but at least maybe a sunny weekend where I can reorganize and get some semblance of order back into the garage. I might just have to sell my whole garage and start again. Talk about a garage sale. But we're celebrating a lot today. Today is the 20th of May, 2021. Katie, it's National Be a Millionaire Day. How would that sound to you and your family?
I think that would be pretty awesome. So wait, does that mean that we all get to be a millionaire for today, or only millionaires get to celebrate?
Well, I think everyone tuning in this morning would agree that, the dynamic duo of Brad and Katie and the Daily Drop-In makes them feel like $1 million. But it just reports that there's 12 million millionaires around the globe. I need to connect with at least one of them to find out what I'm not yet doing right. But National Millionaire Day is today. It's National Endangered Species Day. Day to consider the dwindling populations of certain animals and work together to help. Lots of holidays. It's National Pizza Party Day, Katie. Doesn't sound cheesy at all to me. What do you think?
I think that is perfect. That'll be a perfect way to end the day. We're actually having pizza in our house. It's Pizza Friday, so I like it.
In our family, if we're deciding on what to eat out, I always suggest pizza. Like I can always eat it. I love it. My family, not so much. I mean, they can take it or leave it, but I'm always good for a good slice of pizza. And I know in your area there in Illinois, there's incredible pizza. Maybe I can find a Chicago deep dish when I'm in Illinois next time.
Yes, I think you need to. I think that needs to be on your itinerary.
Just to get you up to speed, Katie, it's NASCAR Day today, promoting the NASCAR events. It's National Bike to School Day, so we've got a transportation theme. National Bike to Work Day, so you can bike to school or work It's National Defense Transportation Day, commemorating the ones behind the wheels of the defense transportation system.
Yeah.
National Pick Strawberries Day, National Quiche Lorraine Day, and it's National Dog Rescue Day today. Katie, do you have animals in your life?
I do. I have a wiener dog. I have a black wiener dog.
What's your dog's name?
Dirk. We did not name him. I want that to be clear.
Yep. How did Dirk come into your family? How did Dirk get into your life?
Well, I've been wanting a dog since I was 5. It had been on my Christmas list literally every year since I was 5. And when we got our house, I finally, I could control my purchase. So I went and we went and looked at a dog, and my husband kept saying, "We're not getting a dog, Katie.
Yeah.
We are not getting a dog. Our house is a month old. We're not getting a dog." And we went to the shelter, and sure enough, Dirk jumped on my lap and fell asleep. And I said, "I think this is meant to be." And we were total new parents with it. We went to Walmart, our local Walmart, and literally just ran up and down the aisles with buying every dog item we could find. And he's been in our life for 11 years.
So you got Dirk at a shelter, and Dirk literally jumped into your lap, and you knew that Dirk was the one.
Yep.
That's such a fantastic story for National Dog Rescue Day. And it really is a nice segue into our good news story today, Katie. It has to do with sort of an unlikely dog rescue in which a dog snuck into a couple's home and snuggled her way into their bed during a thunderstorm. This comes from goodnewsnetwork.org. Talk about an unlikely rescue, Katie. Julie Johnson from Tennessee wasn't sure. Maybe the door was left ajar or maybe a window, but all she knows is that somehow, some way, a stranger was able to freely enter her house, creep into her bedroom, jump on the bed, and snuggle up silently with her and her husband during a thunderstorm. And it turned out to be Nala the dog. Somehow Nala managed to enter their house without disturbing the other 3 dogs who normally sleep there, Jupiter, Hollis, and Zeppelin. So when Julie recognized that, hey, this rescue isn't one of ours, Julie took to Facebook to see if she could locate the dog's owners. She took some pictures with Nala, and sure enough, the owners were able to find and be reunited with Nala. Turns out Nala escaped from her collar. As the thunderstorm was rolling in, I think Nala became startled and off she went. But she had a sense and she knew right where to jump up into the laps of people who would look after her until the storm was over. So, Katie, that's our good news for the day. And I mean, grateful to that couple from Tennessee who, in an unlikely way, were able to open their homes and their hearts to Nala, providing her with comfort and a safe place to stay for the storm.
Now, okay, Brad, I have to ask. Don't you have a lot of questions about how did the dog get all the way in and then into the bed without anything making any noise? I mean, I think I'd be kind of terrified about my security measures if that happened. I don't know. What do you think?
I think if the other 3 dogs if they were relying on the other 3 dogs in their life, Katie, for security, I'm not sure. Maybe they need to go back to a training program, or I'm not sure. If you look carefully at the photos in the article, maybe Nala has a tiny skeleton key on her collar. She can come and go freely as she wishes, or maybe this couple in Tennessee has a revolving door. I'm just not sure, but
that's
yeah. Grateful. I mean, grateful that they stayed calm. They kept their composure, and they were able to find Nala's family using Facebook. And I think the couple that own Nala were just relieved that the couple that rescued or unlikely rescue couple were just really chill with the whole thing.
I think it's fascinating. Good story, though. It is good. I mean, I'd be okay with extra dog snuggles. Who doesn't like that?
Exactly right. There's some awesome pictures of Nala with the dogs, and now that Nala has met her new dog family, her adopted family, Nala and the 3 dogs in the Tennessee home now have play dates.
Okay, that's super cute.
So if we take this story forward to our kids or colleagues, what kind of connections might you see in terms of the themes of the story or the events? How might you bring that to life in your classroom or staff room, Katie?
I think welcoming the I don't know if you'd say unwelcomed, but the unexpected, welcoming the unexpected. I don't know. I think there's a lot you could do with not like not pushing people away, not freaking out when someone unexpected comes. I mean, because that's what my thought is. If I had a strange dog in my bed, I think I'd freak out. But
I think I would too. But I like where you're going with that. I think so much of what happens to us is outside of our control. So what we do have control of it is our response to the situation. And this couple modeled really a compassionate response to an unexpected event where, yeah, it would be natural and normal for us to assume that they would freak out. But
yeah,
and maybe they did. But in the meantime, they were able to provide a gentle welcome to Nala. So that's a connection that I'm making too. Is that so much of what happens to us is unexpected and maybe even unwelcome, and so it's an opportunity for us to say, okay, how am I going to respond to this in a way that adds value to myself or to others? So I'm glad to bring that good news story to you.
yeah, thank you for starting that. I love the good news stories, man. They're such a positive way to start the day. Sometimes I just go to that website just to read random ones.
That's goodnewsnetwork.org,
Mhm.
and National Today is the website that brings us all of the national holidays. So whether you're listening live or joining us later on, it is the Daily Drop-In. Katie, we're going to transition to our brainstorm bank, an
Yeah,
opportunity for us to review the week and to chime in with our listeners to see if we can support their work. Ready to go?
yeah, sounds good.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back. It's the Teach Better Daily Drop-In. We're with you daily, Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. I'm with the incredible Katie Miglin, wearer of many, many hats. I believe Katie, behind the scenes there to the left and right, has probably several hat racks with all the hats
Mhm.
displayed for everyone to see. Mom, educator, coach, wielder of the whistle. No, sorry, no whistle.
No, it's
And Teach Better team member extraordinaire. Katie, we're here with the Brainstorm Bank segment, an opportunity for those who are watching live in our comments to post a question or a comment. Let us know what's on your mind. Let us know if there's anything that we can do to ease you into your day or support your work with kids or support you in your life as you try to maintain the energy and the positivity needed to really serve kids in the best way. So Katie and I, of course, don't promise that we have answers, but we can promise to be your companion through whatever you're thinking or going through, and maybe we can lead you to find some solutions to what's on your mind. So, Katie, as you noted, the final Friday of the school year for you,
yeah.
and I'm wondering about how you are balancing the level of excitement in and around your classroom and school with the level of energy that kids have and the level of energy that educators have to sustain and keep a positive lid on things. How's that energy balance going for you?
To be completely honest, Brad, we're a little like a teeter-totter, and I
Uh-huh.
think I'm on the ground and the kids are up in the air. But no, honestly, the kids are, it's so funny. I keep complimenting them because I keep just, giving them new information. And I told them we're just doing a different kind of theme every day of different lesson. And I'm just exposing them. It's like, kind of that, like speed dating time of year where you're like, here's all the things we haven't learned yet. Try it. See what you think. Learn this, learn this. So they've been so into it. And it's been actually beautiful weather here in Illinois. As
Mhm.
of lately, we haven't had it. I mean, it literally went from like, it was like 40 degrees one day, and 2 days later, it was in the 90s. And so we didn't have a spring, but this last week we've had, that spring weather, the, nice weather. So we've been doing a lot of learning outside. They are very energetic, but they're also, I teach seventh graders, so they're still kids at heart, and
Mhm.
they're wanting to cherish all the little moments and do all the fun little things. And hey, Mrs. Miglin, will you make a TikTok with us this week? And our final week together. And so I am just trying to kind of remind myself, like I do with my own daughters, that their excitement might be a headache for me at times, but it is just excitement, and they're looking forward to, the next year. So yeah, it's been a good couple weeks, and I am definitely ready for a couple days of just nothing on our plates in this house. So I'm looking forward to like sleeping in a couple naps.
So important to meet the kids wherever they are. And when you think about teeter totter, whether we're on the top or the bottom or somewhere in between, I think adolescence and middle school life is a lot like that, Katie, especially for the kids as they navigate a lot of different expectation, lots of changes in their life, both personally, socially, physically, changes in their environment, changes in, sometimes it means if you're an eighth grader, it might mean changing schools as they're anticipating a change to a high school or secondary school. So, that's, I think that's part of the magic of middle school education, is to recognize that it is a teeter-totter world, and you want to be accompanying them on that ride, on those waves, helping them, maybe if they're riding a huge wave, and you're someone who is sort of able to help them stay the course with the calm, maybe those waves will kind of cancel each other out a little bit. There might be a little kind of bobbing around. I've shifted from a teeter-totter, I think, to a rowboat or something. Anyway, I mean, in addition to sort of that teeter-totter world of middle-level education, when you think about your experiences as a middle-level educator, what really energizes you about that opportunity to work with 11 to 14-year-olds?
I honestly think middle school is my calling because they have the perfect mix of being a kid, and they have those kid-like moments, those moments that you like when you see little kids, they have the light bulb moments, or the really excited moments that they understand something or learn something or whatever. But then they also can talk to you like an adult. They can have conversations with you about what's on TV or something happening in the media, or some of them are really into social injustices, and it's so cool to literally go from like this very young, like we're playing with sidewalk chalk and solving math problems on the sidewalk, to then, yeah, tell me about that riot. How did that make you feel? And what does that mean for our country or whatever? And so it's so nice to like have the mix. And I'm a very sarcastic person, like sometimes too much. And middle school is like, they get it. They, in the beginning of the year, they kind of are giving you the look like, is she serious? And then by the end of the year, they're like giving it right back, which is what I really enjoy. So it's a good like kind of mix of that,
And Katie too. I mean, I think about when I speak with you, I just think about the care that you as an adult are modeling with those kids. When we talk about riding that teeter-totter, when we talk about 11 to 14-year-olds, beginning a transition,
Yes.
adolescence into adulthood, so key to have adults with them that are modeling desired behaviors and attitudes, and kids learn a lot and watch a lot, not just what we teach, but for example, how we react or respond to stressful situations, how we manage difficulties in our lives when they come up, how we demonstrate care, not only with the kids, but with our colleagues as well. I'm wondering, as you're on that teeter-totter, Katie, especially as the teeter-totter is heading towards the end of the playground year, do you have any practical strategies that middle-level educators or any educators might be able to take away from our conversation to help them face their Friday with their kids?
I think one of the things that took me a long time to realize, and honestly, I think COVID kind of like smacked me in the face with it, was to just be in the moment and just like let it happen. And I think, last year we were in school, but with masks. And there were so many times where I would say, okay, we're going to do a mask break. And we'd go outside, and I'd be standing outside, and all of us would have our masks off, and it would be 5 minutes. It wasn't very long. And I thought, why don't I do this often? Like, this is just a brain break. They just needed a minute outside. And so I've been trying to be more intentional with those moments this year, and not so worked up about we've got to get through this and this and this, and it's got to be jammed packed 47 minutes with each kid, and I've been trying to be more intentional of just like kind of taking the breaths. And if a kid has to tell us a silly story, or we've got to get the giggles out, or we've got to, on Monday, I took my entire first hour and we just walked because they couldn't get it together. And so I was like, just taking those moments and just letting it happen. Then I think you find you're actually get more focus in the long run, and you get more, structure in the classroom. But it took me a long time to realize like those 5-minute breaks can make a huge difference in the relationships and in, just how you're functioning in the classroom.
So good, and such an important reminder and a practical takeaway, just to allow. I think of the expression, what we resist persists. And so if we resist and fight against the energy that's in front of us, of course, we want to steer things back in the right direction. We want to course correct, but course correcting doesn't mean that you're jarring the boat, or you're jarring the spaceship, or jarring the car back into line, because that risks a wipeout. So what you're advocating for, Katie, is to monitor and make constant adjustments, whether it's a 5-minute break or whether it's a moment to breathe for yourself. And that's important modeling too. Things are stressful. Kids can sense the energy in the room. They can absolutely see and sense the stress of the educator. So you're modeling, okay, we're going to take a pause, we're going to take a breath. And just that you're going to companion them from one moment to another. I just love that. Here's Lori-Ann. So hard to let go of control and let kids be kids. Wonderful,
Yes.
Lori-Ann. Thanks for chiming in. Katie, thanks so much for that practical tip. And I can just imagine that making a huge difference in your day, in the day of so many listeners, whether you're listening now or listening later onto the Daily Drop-In. So, Katie, we're going to transition to our recap of the week. This is, if Ray Hewert's listening, this is Ray's favorite little theme song. We'll shift over. We'll do the recap of the week, Katie, and we'll be right back as soon as I can find. Oh, there it is. As soon as I can find the commercial. Welcome back. It's time for us to recap our week on the Daily Drop-In. I'm Brad Hughes with Katie Miglin, and we're looking back on a week, Katie, of the Daily Drop-In, and you were a co-host for some of our sessions. We kick off the week this week with Ray Hewert and Jeff Gargas. Our theme this week, being an advocate and ambassador for ideas you care about most. So Katie, if you had a banner or if you had a shirt with a slogan that just you want everyone to see what you care about, what matters to you, what you champion, what kind of champion phrase might appear on your banner or t-shirt that says, this is what I stand for?
Oh man, that's a hard one. I think it would be something along the lines of like something for the kids, do it for the kids. I think that is something that anyone that has worked for me, they typically know that is something I'm going to fight for a little bit. I try not to always pick the easiest route. I try to really kind of think about the kids and what's best for them or what's what's going to help them the most. And so I would say something like do it for the kids and keep them in mind. So
Katie, when you think about being an advocate or an ambassador, is there a special secret ingredient? Is there a nuance to those roles that make it different from, say, being a leader or a champion or a cheerleader? I'm wondering about advocate and ambassador. What do those terms mean to you, and what's the secret sauce in there?
I think an advocate is someone who looks for the hidden voices, looks for the population that is underrepresented. And I think ambassador is someone who maybe represents, the overall. They're kind of the forefront, they're the general. And I think an advocate is a harder role because you have to kind of do you have to look for them. You have to look for the hidden voices and you have to look for what they need. And the underrepresented is a tricky group. And so I think that is where, the powers come in, though, is when you can look for those groups that don't have a voice and be the voice for them.
That's brilliant. I just popped that in the banner there, and that banner, hashtag hidden voices, looking for the hidden voices and helping those voices and opinions to be revealed, because everyone matters. And as educators and as parents too, Katie, we're looking for the opportunities for the people in our care, the young people in our care, to know that they have a voice. And what an incredible takeaway for me. I love that. I just love that so much. Ray and Jeff Gargas kicked off the week with their typical shenanigans, but their typical banter, I find always just so inspiring and just a wonderful kickoff to the week. I know Ray is enjoying some time away from Daily Drop-In and from Teach Better, connecting with family. Jeff Gargas, I hope, is not too far away, always inspiring. Jeff is the master encourager, the master appreciator. And then we went, Katie, you had a fantastic conversation Tuesday with our friend and our featured speaker for the Teach Better conference, Jed Dearyberry. Tell me a little bit about your reflections on that conversation with Jed.
Honestly, Brad, anytime I do a daily drop-in with someone, you go in and you're like, it's early. I almost go in with no expectations because I'm like, it's just going to happen. Whatever happens, happens. And Jed is awesome. We know that he's going to be at the conference. That I knew the conversation was going to be great, but he pulled out like some nuggets that I was like not expecting. And one of the big things he talked about was books and advocating for hidden voices in the classroom using
Mm.
books. And okay, I know I should have, like, this shouldn't have been such an aha moment, but I did. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so right. Because I read to my daughters all the time and I will hold these books and I'm like, why is every teacher not reading this to their classroom? Like, this has such a good hidden message. What the heck, you know? And I teach math, so it's like it'd be silly for me to like grab these books and go read them to my math class, but I have done it. And I just think he has such a good message of the subtle messages are sometimes all you need. And we had a lot of conversation about underrepresented groups in schools and how you can advocate for them. And he talked about play and starting every day with play. I don't know if you caught that section of our
Mhm.
segment, but I was like, yeah, every day would be way better if we played a game to start the day. Like, why haven't I done that? So it's just, he just gave like very small, like tangible little thoughts that I felt like my head was just spinning the rest of the day. Like, well, how could I do this? Or how could I do that? So Jed is always such a fun energy anyway. But then I swear every time he's on, I'm like, how do you still have such good ideas? Like what is happening? This is amazing. So yeah, it was such a fun
Well,
conversation.
people and colleagues like Jed who just live that energy and live that advocacy throughout the day. I just imagine they must just really sleep well at night. Just they're
Um,
exhausted after being awesome all day. It's incredible.
Well, I decided I need to go like visit. This is going to kind of sound creepy, but I want to visit his office because
Mhm.
I don't know, you could see behind him,
Yeah.
but before we got on, like he also showed different parts of it. And I was like, I could spend an entire day, I think, in your office, just like
Mhm.
looking at stuff and reading your books. And I don't know, he's such a cool person. I can't wait to like interact with him in person at the conference.
It reminds me of that really special and really small independent children's bookstore that you might find on a street in a town that has a combination of books, crafts, things that get kids' imaginations excited. Where it's small, it's intimate, it's colorful, and full of opportunity, and you just want to spend the day there. And
Yes.
imagine if Jed was your tour guide, that would be incredible.
My gosh, yes, it'd be such an awesome day for sure.
Well worth a listen back on the Teach Better Talk
Yeah.
podcast. If you missed that with Katie and Jed, you can listen back there. And Ked, that could be that could be your
Awesome. I like it.
that could be your daily drop-in couple name. Just
I like it.
go back and listen to Ked on Tuesday, and also well worth a listen. Wednesday, Jeff was joined by Dr. Nick Sutton, and then
Mhm.
Thursday, yesterday Jeff was joined with Jason Regan, who is one of our Teach Better podcast network broadcasters. He is an international educator in South Korea right now. Katie, it was good morning for us, but it was good evening for Nick when Jeff and Nick were connecting. And what a wonderful and positive voice! I really enjoyed that episode. Did you happen to catch that, or
I
were you on
did.
the?
I was super bummed. I was supposed to actually be on yesterday, and with no voice, I asked Jeff to take it. And
Yep.
yeah, I listened to it and I was like, wow, a whole like 12, I'm basically 12 hours ahead of us. And just like hearing his journey and different schools he's been in and the international twist of it all, it was just such a cool, it's definitely worth going back and listening to, if nothing else, just to learn a little bit about that lifestyle. We hear about people teaching overseas all the time, but to actually like hear his story was really cool.
Katie, coming up next week, our daily drop in is focusing on leveraging the opportunities for outdoor education. And earlier in our conversation, you were letting us know that because of the beautiful weather there in Illinois, you had been taking frequent opportunities to get kids outside. Is there something that's restorative about that for you as well as for the kids?
100%. If anybody that knows me knows I like to be outside. I look for every opportunity to go outside. So, yeah, it's nice. Our kids, especially, they're a louder bunch this year, and so I find even my patience is better outside because they're spread out, so the noise carries a lot farther. And where our school is at, we're like out in the country, so there's lots of property, lots of places for them to go, and it is nice just to like get kids to spread out. They can stretch out, and yeah, I feel like we all walk away a little bit happier after being outside. So yeah, definitely.
I'm grateful to see so many opportunities at our school, Katie, for kids of all ages to be interacting with the environment. I'm privileged to teach at a school with just a beautiful campus, beautiful grounds, and lots of opportunity to interact not only with things like play equipment and playground games, but just things like trees and hills and just really really well situated. And we have a staff who are also committed to bringing the learning outdoors. I mean, there's restorative and there's huge opportunities too. Are outdoors part of your weekend plans as we wrap things up and take a look to setting some goals for the weekend, Katie?
I hope so. It is supposed to rain all day tomorrow, so maybe not tomorrow, but hopefully Sunday. I'm into gardening. Are you a gardener? Do you have gardens and flowers and all that?
Yeah, I am. I'm more into puttering around the yard, just making sure that things look tidy. I do a fair bit of vegetable gardening, and peonies are one of my favorites. So we have a couple of bushes of peonies in the back, and so that keeps us happy and it keeps the house smelling fragrant all
Yeah.
spring and summer too. So, what's your passion in your gardens?
I am a vegetable garden
Yep.
person, so we've got that in, and it's coming up, and yeah, it's right now. There's it's like the calm before the storm in a sense because it's just growing. Like we don't have to do anything right now, and there's a few pots that I'd like to put some flowers in that I just haven't decided what I wanted, but yeah, even just like sitting outside, I'm all for that. Drinking coffee outside, really, really doing anything outside, I'm happy to do. Now, what is the weather like where you're at? Because you're much more north.
Yeah, here in Southern Ontario, it's been warm and mild recently. We have highs in the mid 80s scheduled or forecast today, and we have, like you said, a wet and windy weekend
Yep.
ahead. With we're speaking of teeter totters, we're just kind of in a teeter totter between spring and summer, but grateful for a shift in the weather that invites people to come outdoors and to reconnect with neighbors and for kids to see each other again. So lots to look forward to. Have you got a challenge or an invitation for our listeners and viewers for the weekend ahead?
Oh man. Well, it's the end of May, so people are kind of wrapping up school years ish. Um, I would say I'll always make sure you build in some restorative time. I think that's a given for any weekend. But I also think like try to like put something fun on the books. It's easy to kind of get into the routine of packing lunches or meal prepping or cleaning the house. Like that's usually what's on my agenda. But I think plan something fun. Go to a movie, go to a park, even just go work out somewhere different than maybe you usually do. Just do something unique this weekend that, makes a memory that wouldn't typically be on the agenda.
Katie, I'm so grateful to spend this Friday morning with you on the Daily Drop In, and you've really given us literally the gift of your voice this morning. I want to make sure you have an opportunity, even a brief one, to restore and protect that because you'll be using that maybe along with a whistle today, Katie, with
Yes,
your
maybe that's
seventh graders. But it's been awesome to connect with you. I
yeah.
wish you and family a wonderful weekend. I wish you a fantastic end to your school year. Have a fantastic final Friday. And for those listening and watching, we're grateful that you're with us. We wish you a fantastic weekend ahead, and we look forward to reconnecting with you next week, Monday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern. It's the Daily Drop In. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.